would you mind to give us a piece of music? There is no music. Ibani ni chikuhambisana tiri.
Good morning, social workers. For today is World Social Work Day. Happy Social Work Day, all. We gladly are joining the rest of the globe, the world globe of social workers. You go to Singapore, to Cairo, everywhere, all populations that have social workers are today celebrating this wonderful day. So I hope as we celebrate, we enjoy the last day of the 2024 Social Work Day. My task is not much. I think colleagues have programs. We are supposed to have commissions. I hope the presenters and the scribes are aware and they were informed. It's according to the program for commissions. We are having the first commission, professional conduct and ethical practice. The second commission, social work redefined. I think Ms. Khomu will replace Ms. Setlachile on that one. We have the third commission, social work supervision. The addition here is that we'll have Professor Rapolo, but I'm not seeing him amongst us. I think we'll have a replacement. The fourth commission is impact of unethical conduct on service delivery, and I think council will be guiding us on that, leading or resourcing the commission. So now, we only have one breakaway room outside this hall, meaning one commission, a smaller sized commission will be guided outside to the venue. In the same building on the ground floor, then the other three commissions will remain here. And we normally do breakaways in counting one, in this case 1 is to 4, but I'm thinking it might take us a while. So would it be a fair thing if we are to say, as we are seated in 4 rows, we break away that way into the 4 commissions? Would that serve us well, colleagues? Today there's no student, I'm speaking to all social workers. Can I give that as a ruling? For example, there's a proposal. I think I'm hearing a loud yes, if we, in the interest of time, because we have 1 hour, 30 minutes. Thank you. I think for colleagues that could not hear, the input was that we discussed the resolutions of last year. On that one, the HOD and the MEC addressed. In the MEC speech, the resolutions that there's progress on were reported. The HOD also covered those. Let it maybe not be something that we take forward now. I think as Ms. Mukoni was also indicating, our stakeholders are also aware, our colleagues in DSD are aware, and those that are resolutions that talk to our partnering institutions, University of the North and Limpopo in actual fact, I'm now revealing my age, and University of Venda. They are aware that those resolutions are addressed. So can we stick to the program? We do the resolutions that are, the commissions that are here. We are welcome to make resolutions for 2024 and let us leave it with the HOD and the MEC as it is already escalated at that level. So now, as I was saying, we were hearing a resounding yes. So it means as we are seated, these are the commissions, and I'll say that would be Commission 1. I would say that would be Commission 1, Commission 2, 3, and 4. So that 4 is the group that will be led to the breakaway room on the ground floor, same building as here. I will request one of the ushers, once we are done with the logistics, to guide the group to the room. In terms of the presenters or the team leads or commission leads, we had 2 council delegates, but unfortunately council could only send 1. I think Commission 1, you will be guided as to the replacement and the commission lead, but Ms. Chauke is the rapporteur for that commission. Commission 2 on social work redefined. I think Ms. Khomu Tlokwa Maibele will take the space of the acting HOD, Ms. Setlajile. Ms. M. Chabalala was to be the rapporteur. We have a replacement for Ms. Chabalala. I'm informed is Ms. Nku. I'm sorry if it's a gentleman. I think they will take the responsibility as well on that one. Commission 3, the commission lead was supposed to be Professor Rapulu from UL. I'm hoping there's a replacement who will be guided as well in a short time for Commission 3, who will be leading, and Ms. Fala is the rapporteur for that commission. And the last commission, the one that is going to go to the ground floor, impact of unethical conduct on social, on service delivery. The team lead is Ms. Mukoni, and Mr. W.M. Matebula, I think from University of Limpopo, is the rapporteur. And in terms of time, we are having 1 hour, 20 minutes, meaning from now, according to my watch, is 11 hour 10. We will then end our commission discussions at 11 hour 30 and break for tea for 30 minutes. Then after tea, we come back to the hall and continue with the presentations by the rapporteurs from the commissions. I don't think there's a roving mic and there's a...
We have
thank
Dr.
you.
Mamaleka, if she's here, who is also a specialist in that very same division. So I would really suggest from University of Venda, we put forward Dr. Mamaleka to head that commission.
Progressive. Thank you so
From
much.
University of Venda.
We welcome the suggestion. It's a resolution. Ms. Mamaleka is here. Then she will assist as a resource for Commission 3 on social work supervision. Thank you so much. Can we now go into our groups? Can 2 ushers kindly lead Commission 4 to the breakaway room? The pillow room, I call it that, on the ground floor. Are ushers here with us today? Thank you. Can we lead group, Commission 4 is the colleagues on the far end on the right. Thank you. Oh, yes. Dr. Mamaleka is sitting with her commission Commission 3. I think as soon as Commission 4 goes to the ground floor, we will then be able. Commission 4, we follow. Ushers, please don't go too quickly. They want to know where you ended. Come back, come back. The ushers, Commission 4, are waiting on my left, your right as you go out. Just for in case, can we have the presenters and the rapporteurs raising hands so that as you are sitting, you can see? Can I have maybe the rapporteur for now? For Commission 1 is Ms. Chauke. Can you please raise your hand? For Commission 1, that's Ms. Chauke. Thank you. And for Commission 2, Ms. Maibel, I think most of the colleagues on the commission are familiar who Ms. Maibele is, replacing the HOD. And Ms. or Ms. Tenku, are you with us, the rapporteur? Can they raise their, thank you, Ms. Nku. There's the rapporteur for Commission 2. And for Commission 3, Dr. Mamalika. There's the resource person for Commission 3. Ms. Sifala, rapporteur for Commission 3. That's for Commission 3. Thank you, ma'am. And Ms. Mukoni just presented. She's the commission lead for the 4th Commission on Impact. And Mr. W.M. Matebula is part of the UL staff. Is he here? Right at the back, the gentleman in the blue. You're welcome. Thank you, sir. The commission that you are reporting for is just now exiting. Can you kindly follow them? Thank you so much. Let us see each other at 12. That will be the 1 hour, 30 minutes for the commission, plus the 30 minutes for tea. Thank you. Good afternoon, colleagues. It's 12:15. I believe we can now continue the program. We are at the last session of our two-day program. This is our last leg. Let's keep the momentum so that we finish on time. Today is our traveling day. Can I just have by show of hands, wherever you're sitting, our rapporteurs? Commission 1 rapporteur. Are they in-house? Ms. Chauke, thank you. Commission rapporteur for 2. Thank you, thank you. Ms. Nku. And I think it's Ms. Sefala, Commission 3. While she'll be coming, Mr. Matebula, Commission 4, are you here? I think the other rapporteurs will find us on the way. Can we give this opportunity to Ms. Chauke to share with us the reports for the discussions for Commission 1? Over to you, Ms. Chauke.
Okay. Good day, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Akwale, for this opportunity. I'm representing Commission 1, who are dealing with professional conduct and ethical practice. Our chairperson was Ms. Baloi, VW, that side. I was the scribe. I'm Chauke Yvonne. So in our commission, we started on by defining the professional conduct, where we indicated that as social workers, we need to follow all the professional conduct as we practice. And we spoke about an ethical conduct where we gave different examples related to our practices, that we are not allowed or we are not expected to have with our clients, and we cannot even borrow money or lend money from our supervisors or our clients. Then we also spoke about non-judgmental attitudes, that sometimes when we are practicing, we come across clients who sometimes we feel unsafe helping them, like clients who are at same-sex relationship. Some of them, they will come to us applying for adoption, and you find that our morals or our ethics as social workers, we are unable to help them, which at the end of my presentation, we have made recommendations related to that. But we need to treat clients equally, irrespective of their gender, their culture, and their beliefs. So we need to follow all the guidelines as social workers as we are practicing. We also spoke about confidentiality. We're just reminding ourselves in terms of confidentiality that we have a responsibility to the community, to the colleagues, to our clients that we are serving, to uphold confidentiality to the highest level. We also have limitations and rules that help protect our profession. Yeah, sometimes, as I've indicated, we come across dilemmas or conflict cases that we need to deal with, but it's part of our profession, and we chose this profession. It's part of us, and there's nothing that we can do about it. We need to assist our clients. Then we moved on and we spoke about etiquette, which is something that is expected for us at the workplace every day. We need to enforce trust between ourselves as social workers and our clients. And we gave examples of cell phone or telephone etiquette whereby you find a social worker answering a phone call in front of the client. At the end of the day, when you come back to your client, you want to continue with the session or with the interview, which is unethical. So those are some of the things that we come across. We don't even maintain eye contact. We help clients at the same time you are typing on your keyboard. You are sending emails, you are receiving emails, you are responding to some of the things from your cell phone, which will be urgent, but it cannot be urgent while you have the client in front of you. So we need to always consider the norms and standards of our profession, and we make our clients feel comfortable. Sometimes we show some facial expressions when we are dealing with them. There were examples that were shared whereby you have a client who has got a bad odor. So when they come to your office, you just take a paper and then you start showing that the office now is not smelling nice, it's not smelling well, which is not acceptable, but we need to talk to them. Maybe there are issues that made them to smell that way, that we need to check with our clients and assist them, besides what they are coming to our office for help. So probing is important. As we continue with etiquette, social workers, especially supervisors, remember always that you are role models to social workers. So the way we behave as supervisors, that's how our student social workers will behave, because when you have a student social worker in your office, you have a social worker in your office, and you behave in a manner that is not appropriate, you are modeling something that it will be difficult for you at the end of the day to deal with. And we need to avoid being biased. The way we conduct ourselves inside and outside the office must be the same. We understand sometimes that we are human beings who have our own needs, but we must always remember that we cannot separate the two, as it was alluded this morning. We need to create trust to our clients and be culture sensitive. Yeah, so we moved on to customer care, where we just spoke about few things, where we indicated that customer care involves a good character or good traits, natural problem solvers, as social workers. Problem solving is part of us, so we cannot run away from them, and we must be highly conscious and be persuasive and be patient at all times. So this is my last slide, where we made some recommendations on all of the things that we discussed. The first one, the unethical and immoral practices that as social workers we come across, supervisees or clients who we feel we cannot deal with them because of their conflicting interest. We can seek advice from our supervisors, or we refer them to other social workers for them to get help, instead of us saying that we cannot assist you, especially if a client wants to terminate pregnancy because of our beliefs and so on. But that person needs help, and that person must be helped. Then the next social worker must be the one assisting the client. And we must empower ourselves by reading and studying, which is very much important, because some of us, since we had our degrees, we just stopped there. So it will assist us, especially some of us on Fridays, we use it for administration. So that day you can use it to go through legislations, policies that are guiding our profession. It will assist. And lastly, we need to create conducive environment for all our clients, so that when they come to our offices for help, they get that help that they need. Yeah, thank you so much. That's all that we have prepared.
Thank you, Commission One. Are there additions from the group? Comments, questions from the ground? Can we start with additions? Commission One? Go on. Any inputs, comments from plenary? Thank you. Can we then have Commission Two, rapporteur?
Must I sit there? Sure. Yeah. What are you doing to Mr. Good afternoon, colleagues. I was seated there comfortably enjoying my gum, and I remembered the presentation by Mamukon, and I had to quickly, because it's unethical. My name is Maseshiro. My surname is Nku. I will be presenting the feedback. Should I stand this side so that I want to read from there? Yes, no, it's too small there. Yeah, I'll be presenting the feedback from Commission 2, where we were tackling the topic on redefining social work. It's a very interesting topic for me personally, because I think redefining your profession starts with you as an individual. So if you are going to just rush through a service that a needy person comes to your office and you just brush on top and you don't address the core issues that raises the concern that this person had to stand up and come to your office and come and seek assistance from you, and you just brush on the topic that they're just presenting on you and overlook the root cause. That is where we are going to be failing as social workers. So these are the headings that we have identified as a group to say, we are going to talk about curriculum, we're going to talk about practice setting, society, environment, and structural issues, and digitalization. Hey, this word gave us a problem. But anyway, it's fine. So we were saying there is a gap between the curriculum that the institutions of higher learning are giving to students vis-a-vis what they're expecting to find or what they're finding when they come for work-based experience or in-service training. So we also said, it was also indicated that there are also social policies that are available within institutions. So institutions of higher learning, they are working towards redefining their curriculum to make sure that this curriculum also addresses the issues that are currently faced by society. So much as there's a slight gap, the institutions of higher learning, and this we got from the students that are in university right now, they are saying they feel that the curriculum is relevant. The challenges that they are facing is that when they come to Maseshigo's office for supervision and to explore their work, what they are finding is that when you're receiving a client, you say, hi, my name is Maseshigo, I'm your social worker for today, what can I do for you today? That step is skipped altogether. So their work experience or their work environment vis-a-vis what they are taught at school is different from what they're experiencing when they come for work-based experience. And then under practice settings, we also spoke about issues of practice environment not being conducive. We know that as a department, we're having challenges with office space and et cetera, tools of trade and so forth. So the challenge of a social worker who's training in higher learning, they come to a DSD office, they are expecting to find a social worker seated in their one office by themselves with everything, all the tools that they require. That is is a different experience because they get there, they find that there are 3 social workers in one office. The issues of confidentiality come into play to say, how then do you balance assisting your clients, keeping the clients of the issues confidential, and also allowing this person to learn as to how they're going to be conducting or servicing that particular client. So the practice setting, those are the issues, some of the issues, and also the lack of transfer of skills and knowledge and attitude by supervisors to say, supervisors don't allow themselves enough time to take through social work students, through how they don't allow themselves time to take them step by step and train. And there's a lot of things that we do in the work environment where social workers who are from universities, they need to learn those things at their foundation level to say, when they graduate and they start employment, you are expected to do the PA is a different animal altogether. You are given targets, it's this huge number that you don't even know where this number is coming from. And you are supposed to deliver. And also, there was also what we have identified to say, there's a need to have an orientation kind of a session and also a manual for supervisors who will be supervising student social workers, between the supervisors and also the institutions of higher learning. Because one of the issues that were also raised was that the tools that the institutions of higher learning are using are different. So as a social worker, as a student, as a supervisor, you don't know what University of Limpopo is expecting of you. You don't know what University of Venda is expecting of you. You don't know what UNISA is expecting of you because there are different tools of assessment. Their tools of assessment are too different. So there's a need to have an orientation program for social work supervisors. And under societal environment, we also spoke about the curriculum to say, yes, much as it's responding to the different challenges that the societies are facing, the lack thereof is the leadership from supervisors to say, we are just passive supervisors. We don't take responsibility to play our part in imparting knowledge to these new people, this new crop of people that will be coming into the workspace. And also, we don't invest enough time to impart this knowledge that we're talking about. Also, again, the programs, Prof. Stoll, when he was talking yesterday, he spoke about the experience of Gauteng, where now they are experiencing water shortage or water shading. We also have load shedding. In some of our offices, we have a very bad drainage system where if it goes off, it's child time. You understand? So those are some of the issues that also affect how we do our work. And also the political challenges that as social work professionals, we don't evolve with the political spheres. We don't listen to SONA, which affects the targets that we get, because when the president says this financial year we are going to reach about 15 million, we are going to alleviate 15 million people from poverty, that number comes to us as a department to say, what is it that we are going to do? How are we going to be able to reach this huge number? We don't understand the political sphere. We don't listen to the budget speech to say, much as the president is speaking about 15 million people who should be alleviated from poverty, but you have 2 cents to work with. How are you going to do your work? And also, we do not attend the IDPs of municipalities. We are not even we don't do community analysis or situation analysis of our communities, because it's as if we are saying it's a one blanket fits all situation, where one of our colleagues was saying he's stationed in an office and he's given 50, a target of 50, whereas that challenge that he's expected to address is not prevalent in his community. How then do we take that target to another office or another municipality or another district where the challenge is prevalent? issues of climate change. How does climate change, colleagues, affect our work? If there's no rain, people plow mills and they die because there's no rain. How does that affect us? Issues of floods, high temperature, how does that affect our profession? We don't capacitate ourselves to understand the roles that we play as social workers in addressing issues that arises from these challenges. Then that difficult word that we've been struggling about, digitalization, we were saying we need to decolonize education system. Is where we use Korean Kori Mamuko Nagar. We don't even know where Bakai, Korean Kori. We have never seen Korean Kori. But yet you are from Vetport in the deepest rural areas, and you know the challenges, and you know the community structure, you know the family structure as it evolves. But we are not writing anything that will guide how we should be implementing our services. So we need to look into that and digitalize that information so that all of us, someone who's seated somewhere in Malamulele and they have the same kind of elements with their community, Yale Palale somewhere in Waterberg, they will have some kind of synergy and similarities. Then you know that this service is likely to work, and in this situation is not likely to work. And we need to also advocate for manuals that we have within the country and within the department to say, can we know the department is no longer procuring, the department is no longer procuring manuals, and we know as a department we have some of the best programs that implemented properly, they can bring about change. So, as long as I've addressed the service problem, that client is likely to come back because I have not empowered this person enough to stand for themselves. And that is what we should be striving for. And then we also, we also were saying student learning online. This is one of the challenges. They were saying they have observed that students that are learning online respond differently or are a different crop from the ones that are seated in a lecture hall like this. What could be the challenge? What is the difference? Okay, yes, we're talking under procurement as I continue. In curriculum, we're saying procurement of books, legislation and guidelines, and no libraries at the department. So we need to, as a department, we need to have library rooms. Now, when you are allocated an act, it's your act. You even put your name on it to say, Maseshe. So it means nobody else can have access to that. So we need to look into that. And also, when we're talking about the curriculum, we were fortunate enough to have representatives from University of Limpopo and also Univen, where they indicated that their curriculum are providing the expectations in terms of addressing the social ills that we are experiencing as a country. And then, under practice setting, we're saying there's a need to familiarize ourselves and empower ourselves with legislations and the new developments within the social work space. So let's read and read and read. They were talking about half full cups and empty cups and so forth. So we need to constantly be refueling our cups and ourselves to be able to be better social workers. And then under society and environment, the issue again of office space came into light. The challenges with tools of trade, your computers, and also confidentiality, as I've indicated. And then digitalization, we said there are spaces in which you can use digitalization to render your service. And one of the professors was saying, how do you, in a case work, says, you are crying, you are on the screen, you are crying, and I'm on the other side. How then do I offer that tissue that I offer you when you are in my office? So they were saying we need to explore spaces where we can use digitalization and vis-a-vis where they would not. One of the issues, the spaces that were spoken about in terms of digitalization was to say, in filing systems, that can work. But we're also saying, can we then move all these beautiful programs that we have as a department, move them to animation? Because our kids nowadays, they are on TikTok, they are on Facebook, and every time when you're on Facebook and TikTok, there are pop-out messages and pop-out videos that sends out a message. And if you have noticed, if you go on Google and you search something, every time when you open your social media page, that which you have searched in the last 24 hours will always come up. If you have a car that you are looking for and you've been searching, looking for that car, every time when you're on your social media page, that car will always pop out. That raises the interest. So if we move into that space as a department to say, let's use animation, let's digitalize, and also let's have links where we know we have programs that are pre-recorded that kids can watch on their TikTok videos. Much as they're doing this challenge, we can also, as social workers, do challenges that talks to our programs and be able to reach the larger group. And then the resolution was saying to address the issues of curriculum and the gap that we spoke about, there's a need to develop a manual for all students, and this manual must be uniform. So what we're saying is all the social work supervisors should be put on a program that has a manual that they can take back to their office to constantly refer to what is expected of them and of their student social workers in the office. And we are also saying, under practice, we're saying social work etiquettes are important. Asia, social work etiquettes. Yeah, so we need to conduct ourselves in such a way that, as personally, I find it challenging where I'm not in an environment where I work in. I normally don't go out where I work. When I want to have fun, I would rather drive to Polokwane because nobody knows me in Polokwane. And if I see Sesimpo, I will act as if I don't know her. And she will not ask me anything. We'll talk about it on Monday. You see, so we need to conduct ourselves and protect our profession. But even when I say I go out of the community that I work in, even when I'm in that different community, I don't conduct myself in a way that will, if somebody's to take me a video dancing, it will raise eyebrows. So constantly, Mamugone said yesterday that you can't separate social work from yourself. You are full-time, it's a full package. So etiquette, that is where we are coming to say we need to conduct ourselves, even when in the public space, we need to conduct ourselves that we protect the profession. And then, under society and environment, we said there is a need to do a situation analysis. We know as social workers, community development is a method. But we have this section in our department again. And half the time after the work has been done from that side, the cases that have been identified from there, they're not transferred to this side. And by right, that is what should be informing our service delivery and those families that requires our service the most. So we need to do a situation analysis so that when we target accordingly. We don't take a higher number to a municipality or a district where they don't have that kind of a challenge. So situation analysis will help us in that regard, and also the target group of people that requires the service that will be intending to deliver. And then, under digitalization, it may have an impact in terms of doing counseling as we look into body language, the tone of the client, the tone that we're using, because you know when you're talking on the phone and somebody responds some way, you would think the person is angry, only to find that the person was yawning or the person was doing something. So the challenge here, digitalization, will give us that challenge when it comes to casework. But there are certain spaces, as I've indicated, to say that these spaces where we can explore more on how to use digitalization in terms of our service delivery. And then we also said under curriculum, there's a need to have synergy and alignment in terms of the tools, as I've indicated, the tools and guidelines as to what the students are performing or are expected to report back to the university. The attire, as I've indicated, the supervisors need to give themselves enough time to take these persons through their work. And also, we need to move from previous practice of the current space relating to political issues, social issues, and etc. So that space also, we need to familiarize ourselves so that we are able to redefine our profession. Yes, that point under digitalization talks to what I was saying in terms of animation, yeah, body TikTok videos and things like that. I saw, says Patience Mavani, she was saying, she was within Pagati, she was inside Pagati, and she's going to trend on TikTok. I don't want to go into context, but she understands. Can we move? That is the end of, I hope I've done justice to the group. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. There was Commission 2. Are there additions from the Commission? Where's the second mic? The second mic.
Maybe that was on the letter note. Okay. Okay, colleagues, we were trying to say again in terms of the redefining that as a department, I think we're moving towards the electronic implementation of our administration processes. That if you get into our website, you will find out that you not a website, our system. We have your systems. Our systems now are combined. So if you enter the intake, you capture your intake on substance abuse. I'm giving an example. So as and when you go and implement the program on VEP, you're going to use the same intake, whether you are being assisted in Bilabila or you are assisted in Mopani. So it will be only one intake for one person. So we understand the challenges that we are facing currently in terms of our infrastructure systems, your connectivity, your laptops, your network issues, which might hinder the progress. But it is a work in progress which just requires people to actually implement it. And another thing in the environment is the issues of us implementing the flexi hours. I'm thinking that as Department of Social Development, we are programmed to work 7:30 to 4:30, which means my client as a VP or a GBV prevention coordinator, somewhere in the offices, not even coming to our office. So we need to find ways of ensuring that you have those social workers who will be at work from 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock, including those that are working in Lephalale, in Yomusina, because the environment itself, the conditions are unbearable. Clients would not even visit your offices because somewhere it's 45 degrees Celsius in the day. So those are things that as and when we try to redefine the profession, we need to look into them so that we reach the correct target at the correct time. Thank you.
That was the addition. This one. That was the addition from the Commission. Any other hand from Commission 2? Comments from the larger group? Inputs? Thank you.
Thank you, Program Director. Currently, the Council for Social Service Professions has a policy on the use of technology, which I know is also in the process that we are updating it, but currently there is already a policy document on the use of technology. So let's just go to the website, and I hope that people will be able to access it there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mamukoni. And we recall, colleagues, that in our last symposium, 2023, the then Ms. Malamba shared the policy with us and indicated what are the implications for our day-to-day. And I'm hearing what the commission is saying, and I know that Mr. Mpasha, he's not with us today, but he would remind us of the days when, I think Bomam Koni, Bomapilusa would recall those days, when social workers would do exactly that, wait for the farm workers to knock off and go and conduct group works or whatever service that is required outside the employer's time. That has always been what one of the presenters said earlier today, the helping profession. Not all of our potential clientele is reached within the working hours. I just want to respond, colleagues, to something that the presenter mentioned, that, well, I'll give the opportunity to professors and our academia here, to academic staff to respond, but I want to respond on our side in terms of what universities are sending when they are requesting placements with us. The commission is indicating that the challenge is the expectations from field practicing social workers to say, if I receive a student from Univen, a third-year student, what is it that is expected from me as a social worker mentoring the student, as opposed to a university student that comes from Stellenbosch, because we do place any student from across the country. What is the meaning? What is the essence of the differences in the manuals? I think that is what they are getting to. But as that part will be responded by our universities, our part is with the different manuals, acknowledging the difference, with the different manuals that are there. The essence always, when we communicate, is that the students need to always come with the manual that will indicate to the social worker on practice what is it that they are supposed to take the student through. They will include as well the dates when what is supposed to be submitted. And I'm happy that both the HODs for University of Limpopo and University of Venda are here. They are plowing that field quite very well to try to merge the gap between the students and the social workers that are mentoring. I think there's a lot that can still be done in that space, but I think we are doing quite well as a province partners. So there's a lot of improvement where the universities are calling our mentoring social workers and sometimes even their supervisors of those mentors to try to make the manuals make more sense. I find it quite exciting, colleagues, that as we sit here, we are different levels of social work practice. Ne? But sometimes when a student comes, she or he finds a social worker that has completed 20 years ago. Sometimes it's more like we talk a different language. And I think what the commission was raising was around how do we then make sure that the mentor understands how best do I take the hand of this mentee with the expectations that are in the manual. The part that I wanted to project was the correspondence that goes. When we receive the manuals from head office, we ensure that the coordinators would then relay the manuals to the mentors, and the mentors, assisted by the universities, will be able to interpret the expectations. So I'm seeing we are struggling, it's fine, it's not an issue. Are we having comments or questions from the university side on the issues raised by the commissions? I think there was even a proposal for the manuals to be almost the same. Thank you, Prof.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm seeing my name. What's happening there? Okay. Okay, with the issue of what is it that is expected of a student when we receive them at the agency. When we sat there at the back with Commission 2, we spoke about the issue of orientation, which we believe as universities that it is parallel. At the university, before we send our students outside the university for an experiential learning, what we do is that we take them through the orientation process, which we believe, again, that immediately when they get at the field, they should as well be inducted. Remember, things may be a little bit different, but at the end of the day, the objective is one, is to ensure that the student is the product that we expect as the university, that he or she would go out there and make a change in their society. So there are documents we sent. I've seen already on the screen some of the documents that we sent, which have the dates of when the students would be starting with their placements until the end. And in our circular, there is another document, we call it a circular as well. There are a number of expectations, and lately, the council representation is here. All that which is expected by the council in terms of the norms and standards, we make sure that we include and we report. Remember, we're being regulated as the training institutions. We report on those back to the campus, but I'm happy because I see a number of things are there. Obviously, number one, we need to be sure, we fought a lot, I know, with OSHOMOSO in terms of students' registration with the council. That is number one. We don't expect any student to have a contact with any client, actually from second year, because our students have their first contact with clients at second year. I'm having Dr. Dimo next to me, who's our field practice coordinator. We work very closely to ensure that by end of the second semester for the first years, before they move to the second year, then we start to process the registration with the council. However, I believe this is not only affecting the higher education institutions, maybe even the implementation, stakeholders are affected. The issue of having to register with the council online, wherein we are unable to download the certificates and all, but we are happy because our associations like ASASWE, they are advocating for us in ensuring that the council comes to the institution of
impacting the supervision challenges. I would believe that colleagues seated here, all of us, we are so much aware that supervision is a requirement in social work, but there are quite a vast of challenges that supervisors do encounter in them delivering their work. We spoke about ratio that is disproportional, which is not according to the supervision framework. And I think Seskhomotso seated at the provincial office will agree with me that in the province we've been having challenges of the ratios. Somewhere colleagues are having 1:20 supervisors, whereas the framework is very clear in terms of how the framework, the ratios should be. Remember, it's talking about if you are having social workers within the service point, 1:13. But if you are having those that are at vast, 1:10. However, because of challenges that you are having in supervision, we most oftentimes find ourselves having ratios that are disproportional. We also spoke about the distance between the supervisor and the supervisee. I think we also made mention of a district like Waterberg. You find the supervisor seated somewhere in, I don't actually know the areas, but you know how vast Waterberg district is, you know how vast Bembe. I think all the districts are vast. You find a supervisor because of challenges of supervisor sitting here, having to drive 40 or more kilometers to reach a supervisee. Then you can understand what will happen to the supervision thereof. We also spoke about inadequate support from management to supervisors. I think that was supervisors having understanding that as supervisors, we are also human beings that will require maximum support from management, being it at the district office, being it at the provincial office. At times, they find themselves alone, not getting enough support that they would require that will allow them to provide effective and efficient supervision services. We also spoke about shortage of appointed supervisors. I would know that colleagues, you know that we are doing makeshift arrangements. Most of the supervisors that you are having, colleagues, are delegated supervisors. And I believe, so you are all aware that the appointed supervisors are very less in the province. And due to that, those that are delegated, oftentimes they're less committed to their work. Oftentimes they're not accountable. We work at their mercy. At any time, if they don't want to do supervision, they just drop you along the road. So you just have to see to finish. I think that those are the challenges. We spoke about lack of resources, which is very key. Because for you to provide efficient and effective supervision, you must be provided with resources. I think resources, you're all aware. We talk about infrastructure, we talk about office, we spoke about those gadgets that you must have as a supervisor that will enable you to provide the effective and efficient supervision. We spoke about lack of capacity by the supervisors themselves. I think some colleagues will even say, we don't even know this kind of supervisors that you have seconded or delegated. We oftentimes feel that they are not capacitated enough to conduct the work, to actually respond to the needs of supervision. So we said some of them are not really capacitated because the makeshift arrangements, you just say, Konisfala, can you come and assist? You just agree and you are not even capacitated in terms of what supervision is all about. We spoke about unplanned activities from provincial office that normally will temper or hinder supervisors from doing what they are supposed to be doing. Remember, as the province, we know that every Friday, Supervision Friday, we set all activities that you are having, the different districts, we must just secure Friday for supervision activities. Unfortunately, that is not happening as expected because of these unplanned activities that normally would interfere with the work of supervisors. We spoke about targets. Remember, as a supervisor, your role is to allocate targets to the supervisors, make sure that they do contracts in the form of PAs,
But you are saying those targets by supervisors are not evenly or equitably distributed to the supervisors. But however, when we're raising these issues, we were saying social work is a process, not numbers. And we tried to advocate the fact that supervisors, maybe at a higher level as part of the recommendations, we need to treat social work as a process, not a once-off activity that will require numbers. But supervisors, because of the political landscape, as you are having targets, make sure that you distribute those targets not equally, but according to the needs of the local office. I think my colleague Mas Shiro here was even talking about the fact that you give a target to a colleague that is in an area where it's getting used then. There are no older persons, but you expect this colleague to report about abuse of older persons. So I think those were the issues that we discussed in the commission. We also spoke about poor communication that you oftentimes as supervisors found wanting because of the messages that we normally have to take to our supervisors. We don't communicate properly, either messages that are coming from the district or provincial office or wherever messages are coming. There's this poor communication that is actually happening that will oftentimes hinder issue supervision properly. We spoke about lack of dedicated time for supervision. I think the other group spoke about it, that as supervisors, one of the challenges, supervisors don't even dedicate time to conduct supervision, which is very critical. But besides challenges, there are also good things about supervision. We spoke about the positives in supervision, because you know that supervision, that's where expectation is that as a supervisor, you've got a superior knowledge, you've got relevant skills and attitudes that you need to impart to the people that you are supervising. Those are the positive things about supervision. You get to have knowledge, skills, and attitudes that are imparted by your supervising. We said supervision is there to support, is there to guide, is there to encourage. That is supervision. We also said supervision, through supervision, it's a learning environment. You get to learn the new developments, you get to learn the profession, you get to know the standards, you get to learn everything that is required of you as a social worker, that which you get from the supervisor who is well capacitated, knowledgeable, skilled, and with the right attitude. These are the recommendations that we managed to come up under Commission 3. We said we need to prioritize appointment of supervisors, and I think this is turning to be a record, scratch, because we can't continue working on makeshift arrangements. We must understand that supervisors are the engines of the department. They are the line of communication. They are in the middle. If we don't have supervisors, I don't know how will the department operate. We need to prioritize procurement of resources to enable effective and efficient service delivery. There must be induction of the newly appointed supervisors, and we must continue to have continuous CPD accredited trainings for all supervisors across all levels. I believe you know we've got supervisors that are supervising students, those that are supervising all social workers. There should be induction for the appointed ones. We must have continuous CBT trainings so that we equip them with relevant knowledge and skills that they're supposed to transfer to the people under them. There should also be, we are recommending in-service training among supervisors themselves to share knowledge and best practices. We always say, if I don't know, which is next door is not a crime. But you are also saying, as supervisors, learn to have peer supervision amongst yourselves as supervisors, where you share knowledge, you share experiences, you also share best practices. We also recommended that we need to have, the department must develop a provincial policy on supervision to address the provincial needs. I believe, colleagues, you are aware that the supervision framework is developed at that higher level, but the needs of the province are known by us. We need to customize that supervision framework to suit the needs of the provincial office. Even if the framework is say 1:10, but we need to look into the environment within which we operate. Certain things cannot be a blanket approach. That's why we said, maybe as a province, let's customize the framework to suit the needs of the province. We said even appointment of supervisors or even secondment should be on the merits, not only the work experience. And I think Seskhomotso have been hammering about that, or for you to become a supervisor, it is not only based on the years of experience, there should be a lot of qualities that are involved for you to be, because if you are a supervisor, you are a leader, you are managing people. There's quite a number of issues that needs to be looked at, not only the years of experience that you've been in the field. Furthermore, we said we need to revisit the supervision framework to address the local needs, similar to what we said, because we said as a province, our needs are known by us. Yes, we acknowledge the supervision framework, but let's customize it to our needs. We need to fill the vacated post immediately, especially for supervisors. We know people go either for natural attrition and other things. Let's just make sure that those posts that are vacated are filled immediately. We also said it's important that supervisors, you develop yourselves. Self-development is very important. I always say knowledge is power. The knowledge that I have, no one will take it away from me. Other than us supervisors relying on the department, let us just enrich ourselves with knowledge so that we can keep ourselves abreast with new developments. We can be able to communicate and engage with other counterparts from in anywhere in the world, because I'll be knowing that I'm fully equipped with knowledge and skills relevant for the work that I'm currently doing. We also spoke about institutions of higher learning to develop a modular curriculum that will speak about supervision and management, specifically designed for colleagues that would say we are earmarking for supervision. Maybe they need to undergo a structured curriculum that will specifically speak about supervision issues and management, because if you are a supervisor, you are also a manager within your own right in that space. We also spoke about self-introspection by supervisors. I think Doc there was talking about care of the caregivers. Let's introspect as supervisors, much as we are human beings, but we need to introspect in line with the Code of Ethics, in line with the South African Council of Social Service Professions requires being human beings, but let us introspect, be willing to do the work, be committed at all time. I think Mam Koni in the morning mentioned issue, taking yourself serious just by being time conscious when you are invited to certain meetings, that is showing professionalism at all time. I think introspection, we're saying, let's take ourselves serious before other people can take ourselves serious. Start with yourself. I think things will go well. We also spoke about institutions of higher learning, maybe revisiting the curriculum for social workers. We understand that you are doing quite a lot, but I think that was attributed to the fact that we have realized the gap in terms of what they have learned into the work environment. Things are not the same. I think my colleague there, Master Shiro, mentioned it very well, but you said maybe look into the curriculum in terms of how the training of social workers is compared to what we are currently experiencing. We even said, why don't we have in the meantime, because we do acknowledge and understand that Rome was never built in a day, can't you incentivize or give incentives for delegated supervisors for them as an encouragement to continue doing the work, because we do acknowledge that they are doing it willingly and they are not even getting anything. But because we understand that it takes time for you to build a house, let's start somewhere so that we can encourage them to continue with the work. We also said, as a supervisor, you also need to have debriefing, but also supervisors. Colleagues, I think you'd agree with me that as social workers, we go through a lot, we experience a lot of challenges in our profession. We get trauma from all different walks because of our clients But we also need to be debriefed as supervisors and at the same time as social workers. You oftentimes had to deal with this difficult supervisee. Somebody was even saying some social workers are not supervisable, they're very difficult. But can't, as a supervisor, Lena, be debriefed, at least something that will support me, for me to be able to continue with the work that is expected of me. We said we need to strengthen communication, even through other methods. I think the colleagues, Commission 1 said a mouthful in terms of why can't we opt for other methods of supervision? We've got now have the digital world. Why can't we have supervision the digital way? Because of the distance that I spoke about, me having a supervision online with my supervisor who's 45 or 60 kilometers away from me. This is something that we thought needs to be looked at. That is the end of the presentation from Commission 3. Thank you very much, colleagues.
Thank you, Ms. Fala. Are there inputs from Commission 3? Questions, comments from our colleagues? While they are taking the mic for the question, I'm happy that we are all here. Provincial office, Messi, our facility managers, Tebogo, we are here, all of us, PET. And I'm happy that we are discussing this in this way, having the inputs of all for supervision. The resolution, the recommendation is that we have trainings, and we know that the challenges are funds, as the Commission is already saying, and service standards will use the change. So, says Homu, ke a di kgopela di change tše, re kgone ho engage Prof. Rapolo and Dr. Budeli to capacitate this through that CPD. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. I know you were too quick to dismiss me in the morning, but I'm still coming back with the same color. I didn't change. I know that last year in the previous symposium, I'm still coming with the same color, like I said. In the previous symposium, we resolved that we need numbers. We want to know in terms of supervision. We want numbers presented there, projected there to say, in the province, how many supervisors do we have? And we also need a breakdown of how many male supervisors do we have and how many female supervisors do we have, because I've seen that the discrepancy between those numbers, that is my observation, and I don't want to rely on that observation, but I had relied on you to give us correct figures to say, this is the number of the supervisors, this is male supervisors and female supervisors, because we were worried about the number of female supervisors dominating this profession, and it's going to create a problem because it looks like as if we don't respect female supervisors, but we said we want the voice of male supervisors. So I thought, because we are talking about it now, maybe you are in a position, or maybe because we arrived late yesterday, some of us, maybe as you said, the HOD and then the MEC has addressed the issue, but can you tell us now, because this is the resolution of last year, and it looked like this exercise is futile and useless if we come here and talk and resolve, but we don't come back and account. Thank you.
Thank you, and I think the response will still come the same way, that if the MEC and the HOD have addressed the resolutions and what the department, as the lead of the department, I would think what we can do for today in this session in their absence is to submit what we feel are priorities for the department, priorities for the universities. Now that they are not here, myself and Ms. Homu from the program will take further the information that you are requiring. In terms of statistics, maybe just to respond, colleagues, the statistics are shared. Bomasfala, all our social work heads are here. They know what numbers, the numbers come from the districts and not from the provincial office. including the supervisors that are supervising students that we call mentors. We know that in Capricorn, in Waterberg, how many mentors are mentoring students with the required number of years as per the framework, how many appointed supervisors. We even know how many in the posts have left, as Masfala was presenting, have vacated in our district, then how many vacant posts do we have? And we also know how many then we can fill. That information is something that is shared daily. It's not something that we had anticipated that since the resolutions of 2023, colleagues are not aware of such, because it's something that we discuss as and when planning is done at various levels, starting within the district. We even understand the vacancy that we have from the professional side to say we believe we need 50 supervisors, but then corporate will indicate you can only fill 10. And that's the reality of where we are. Hence, I'm responding with the same color again as I did in the morning to say, can we submit what we as social workers in the symposium feel is our need to our principals? I think that would assist us. And there was okay, I've noted 4 hands already. I'm not sure where the roving mic, oh, okay.
Good afternoon, colleagues. She already touched on what I wanted to talk about, the question of appointment of supervisors. The department is currently in the process of cutting down. They are developing a new structure, and the approach is to cut down on numbers of posts. So that is a great concern. If we want to do the right thing, our recommendation could also be, can the department reprioritize or prioritize social work supervisors posts? Because social work in the department is the key service. We are the core of the department. And if we don't do what we are expected to do, then there's no Department of Social Development, because we are actually the department. So my recommendation would be, can we put it down in writing for them to reconsider the approach that they are following now to cut on the number of posts, and they don't care whether it's a professional post or not. So what we are seeing now is that if a supervisor retires, the post will never be filled. And because it's not active, then it dies a natural death. So our recommendation, I think, would be, can they re-look into the whole thing for us to meet what the demands of our norms and standards? I think that would be my recommendation. Let them reconsider and prioritize social work services.
Thank you. Group 2 is raising a concern about the distance between the supervisor and the supervisee. I think they are referring to the distance to be traveled. Despite the challenges that we have, such as our poor infrastructure, lack of equipment, let us embrace technology to bridge the gap between the supervisor and the supervisees. We can use what we have, such as your video call, in order to reduce the distance. I think it will help us use our Teams meeting to bridge the gap. I think it will help us as a department. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I wanted to start with the first one because I'm thinking, Chair, you were very much diplomatic in responding to the gentleman at the back. You know, when they tell you to go to hell in a polite way, and you go there running, not knowing you're going to hell. What should have happened with this symposium? Because I did not attend the previous symposium. I could have thought that the first thing that we needed to have done was to actually say, this is our second symposium. It's not the first symposium of the first. Then we said, in the last symposium, this is what we raised. This is how far we have gone. We are on red on this one. Therefore, how do we then forge ahead? So we cannot come here and starting something like we're starting something new. Already there are certain things that were done. So it could not be that because we don't have a report, we elevate everything to the HOD and the MEC and everyone. These decisions requires us to say, now that the department has failed to appoint supervisors as they were expected, you will go back and say to that delegated supervisor, you are not going to supervise me, you're not qualified. Because he is going back without any response. So I'm thinking again, we need to apologize if we did not do things the correct way. The fact that we are in this symposium today, we did not even receive a single document of what is going to be discussed prior to this event, because this is a symposium. We need to share ideas and everything. We come here, we are surprised about the presenters, the presentations. We're not even given a time to ask questions. To say, now you've presented card gambling, what is it that I'm going to ask? Where am I going to find this guy? There was not that opportunity. Nonetheless, those are some of the issues that you need to consider. The other issue, we are talking about supervisors, and I'm asking myself, supervisors, who are you going to supervise? Because you don't have social workers. We have social workers leaving the department every day. If you check the current structure, you'll realize that the supervisors that are there are actually enough to supervise everyone who's there, because social workers are gone. So as and when we want supervisors, let's also talk to the issues of us wanting social workers to be appointed. Because if social workers are appointed, then it's a good thing. The other issue that we're missing as a department, I don't expect that the PA supervisor seated here should have a target number of people reached substance abuse. Am I going to conduct substance abuse campaign? It has nothing to do with me. And these are the recommendations that the commission should have come up with. We need number of social workers supervised on supervision activities. So you put your things around then those meetings, supervisors will not be forced to attend a meeting where committee or older persons. She will be concentrating on supervising the activities. So maybe we need to redefine how we do things in the next symposium. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, House Patience. At least it's better that I'm speaking after you. I feel very much protected now because the chairperson has tried so many times to run around and to run away from my questions, but it's fine. My question was one, I don't know if whether it's a ratio or it's a framework to say how many supervisors should one supervisor have. Then if you answer that question, I'll be very much happy. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I'm happy, Lina, that I'm speaking after the lady who was just speaking now, because she shares the sentiments that I have. Maybe to go back, the report that you were talking about, sister, the HOD gave the report yesterday. Out of the 36 resolutions that we had last year, only 6 was implemented. And I'm hoping the ones that we are going to have now will be implemented. Yesterday we clapped for the 6. But if you put it into perspective, it seems like nothing was done. Because if we only have 6 out of the 36 implemented, what are we saying? Are we only sitting here, discuss, and then go back, and then nothing gets done? The other thing that I wanted to raise was with the previous commission, the second commission. I am happy that we have training institutions here. I wanted to talk to the issue of mentorship, but I'm glad because it relates with supervision. My plea was, before we send these students for placement, can we as the training institution prepare them in terms of time management? We understand that mentorship broadly has to do with scholarly and career development, but can they be able to prioritize and manage their time accordingly to avoid situations where we will be expecting them to carry out certain tasks and then they are crying about time because there is a research paper that they must write and be done with. So I'm saying let's work together, prepare them, help them to manage their time accordingly so that things don't get ugly, for a lack of better word, where they will feel like we are sabotaging them when we are expecting them to do what they're supposed to do in practice. On the other end, they want to do what they're supposed to do in class. Can we have that synergy? Thank you.
Thank you. Those were all the hands that were noted. The comments of the colleagues are recorded and will be put forward. We have the last commission, Commission 4. Can we have the rapporteur for Commission 4? Thank you. Hands as he approaches.
Masiari. I'm just learning this vendor thing, but it's getting there. Greetings, everyone. My name is Wiseman Matebula. I'm from the University of Limpopo. I'm the lecturer there in the Department of Social Work. So I'm just here to come and report about what Commission number 4 has discussed, which it has issues to deal with the impact of unethical conduct on service delivery. But I must just indicate that those that were in that committee, the move was somehow boiling. It got to a point that I even felt like there were two emotions that was attached to the discussion itself. But be as it may, I will try by all means to report on issues that I believe that they fall under service delivery, intervention, and gaps. So one of the issues that I will start with so that we differentiate the two, there was an issue of council that came out in much of the discussion, but we classified it as our regulatory body. And then we also spoke about issues of the employer and the social workers themselves. So the first one that I will start with, we spoke about an issue of unethical conduct in a way that there are some social workers that they find themselves outside what is prescribed by council, and as a result of that, they get to be dismissed. So if you look at the ethical conduct by council, one of it speaks about social justice, wherein social workers are expected to pursue social change on behalf of groups that are vulnerable or disadvantaged group. So we had a case that we discussed wherein they're saying this case, it took place here in Limpopo. One of the social worker was dismissed, given 5 years suspension that the person will not practice because that person has solicited bribe from one of the client. So those are some of the issues that as social workers were expected not to engage in. It's not only that, there's only other issues like relationship, for example, that social workers are also not expected to have relationship with clients. So because of that, the council, when it comes handy, and as the result, some people, they get to be fired. So, but be as it may, there are some of the issues that we also discuss under this to say there are issues that at times they lead to social workers to behave in a certain manner, but that does not justify why a social worker should act outside the ethical conduct that are prescribed by the council. So another issues that we spoke about, we said, because social workers themselves, before they are social workers, they are human beings, they are individual. And also a healthy environment should also be provided for them in order to enable them to deliver their services that they have to offer to clients. So at times, most of the issues that our commission raised is that there is always little that is given to social workers, but hence they're also expected to put more, but the support that they get, either from the management, it's less, but they are expected to do a lot of stuff. So another issue that we spoke about that also fall under that, unethical conduct on service delivery, it was the issue that I think, colleagues, you are discussing the most, the issue of posts or vacancies that are not filled by new social workers or social workers that are not employed to fill those vacant positions. As a result of that, Commission 3 felt like most of the social workers are given more work to do because those vacant posts are not filled. And that cannot be their responsibility. It's the responsibility, for example, of the Department of Social Development to make sure that if there's a colleague who has been either fired or colleague has resigned, that vacant post should be filled, because one person now will be given a lot of responsibility to do a work that was supposed to be done, for example, by 3 social workers, and that person find himself alone. And when it comes to month end, these social workers are expected to submit what they call monthly reports. Supervisors will be handed to say, we want monthly reports. But when you check, the work itself that it's given, sometimes it's not even justifiable. Another issues that we spoke about, which I think it's also a critical issue under this one, colleagues, they even felt like social workers are underpaid. The salaries that are paid, they feel like it's not even enough, and they're expected to be resilient and also to be able to deliver their best. So the issue of integrity also came in. So it does not mean that when you are a social worker, you should also act outside of line. You should also act in a manner that you are professional, you conduct yourself in a way that it's not out of line, so that you are able to deliver what is expected of you. So another issue that we dealt with, it was to say, what is it that our council can do in order to support social workers? Because some colleagues felt like they only know about the council. If, let's say, for example, one person is in trouble, that's when they will know that the council will come, and then they will have to implement that. But during the course of the year, they felt like even more trainings are needed in order to make them being aware about these ethical conducts that one is expected to uphold at all times. So we should also act in a manner that it's accountable for, not also acting out of line. So they also indicated the issue that when we practice this issue, I think it came too much to say, the environment that the social workers find themselves in, it's not conducive. We spoke about the principle of confidentiality. They are saying that you find that in one office, 5 social workers sit in that. When there's a client comes, they have to, maybe someone has to make a way out for that, so that that principle of confidentiality is maintained. But that it does also have some impact, because it disrupts the work that has to be done. If you go outside of the office, because a colleague has to do a session, you are expected to be doing work at that time, and then your work will be left behind. So we felt like there should be also an issue of, we discussed the issue of union, to say social workers usually are not represented by a union. And in most cases, if there are concerns that are raised by social workers, some of the social workers do not participate in those actions that needs to be taken. Some, they felt like they are okay, and then they decide not to participate in that. Even one speaker even mentioned the issue to say every time she hates to go to the office, because one of the first responsibility when she gets to the office, she will have to clean the office. And that's not part of the responsibilities of a social work, but they have to clean. They have to prepare their offices. They have to make sure that the environment at least meets some standard. But majority felt like even the Department of Social Development is not handy in supporting of that. They even felt like they are always expected to compromise on a lot of issues, but there's little support that is provided in order to support them. So another issue, it was that one of unions, to say unions should also play a role, or some should be formed so that we are unionized. Another thing, they even felt like they are being ignored. Their concern are not taken anywhere, because they raise the same concern again and again every year. But the following year when we come, we still speak about the same issues. I don't want to be out of way. My HOD is here. I don't want to be in trouble. I don't even see him, Prof. Rapulo here. Where is he? I don't want to be in trouble. So one of the issues that, even when it comes to issues of supervision, that even in our committee we discussed that social workers, they even feel like their supervisors are not treating them well, but they are always expecting them to deliver at their best. As a result, they are always under pressure. They have terrible circumstances or experiences in engaging with their supervisor. And we also talk about to say, just because the Department of Social Development recommends that when you become a supervisor, you must have 10 years experience, it's not everyone who has 10 years experience who qualifies to be a supervisor. Some, they just have that experience, but they are not good supervisors. What they do, they only demand, they want the work to be done. So, as I conclude, if in case I also left some of the issues, I think colleagues will be able to come in and then also make some contributions. So without any waste of time, we also spoke about personal development and support to say, against all odds of all the circumstances that you are facing as a professional, it is also within your right to make sure that you improve yourself as an individual. I'm so happy today, even when I stand here as a young academic. I think at the University of Limpopo we have Ms. K. Mamadi. She's one of the youngest lecturer, I believe, in the world, employed by Professor Apollo. There at the back. Can you wave, Kucho, there? There at the back. So she's doing something. I think when we come back in the next 2 years or 3 years, she will be a doctor. That's what I think it will happen. So from me, I think this is some of the issues that we discussed. If I left any colleagues, please feel free to come and then add in addition to that. I thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Matibula. That was Commission 4. As he has already requested, are there additions from the Commission? Comments from the group? Inputs? Thank you. As I close on this session to hand over back the reins to our chairperson of the day, I thank you, colleagues, for your rigorous deliberations, and I do take note of the comments that the colleagues have raised, and they will be submitted as we did with last year, and the HOD and the MEC will assist the program to respond to all the resolutions that were taken. I haven't as yet counted how many we have for this year, but I think we will assist each other in monitoring that. And thank you so much, colleagues. Can I now hand over to the chairperson?
Thank you very much, Homutso, for handling the commissions. I believe the discussions started from hindsight, insight, and also foresight, because the resolutions give us the way forward. And I believe, as hindsight, you talked about the 2 resolutions that were taken last year, and the 6 were implemented, and we are left with about 26. In addition to what you have resolved today. So they give you about 12 months for implementation. The cries of the social workers should be addressed by the leadership of the Department of Social Development. And also the universities have got responsibilities because they are the ones who are taking out the social workers. And then the department receives these social workers from us as institutions. Amongst the resolutions that were taken by the commissions, universities have to align with what is being practiced outside the university. So I think the coming together of universities together with the department will close up the gap that is there. Because now you know what the Department of Social Development wants. Oh, us as university, we know what the Department of Social Development wants. And how do we then align ourselves with the department's roles as universities? The short courses in terms of CPD are very, very important. The HODs of the university, please develop such short courses because they are needed. Always we need refreshments. That is why Christians go to crusades. They go there for revival because they know that Jesus Christ was born in Nazareth. But always there is a reminder that Jesus Christ was born in Nazareth. Without wasting a lot of time, I will call upon Veronica Nemtandani to give a vote of thanks and also close this symposium. Over to you, Vero. Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you, but can we please just get up and there's a song that says, brighten the corner where you are. Can we try it, please? Why don't you brighten the corner where you are? Brighten the corner where you are. Why don't you brighten the corner where you are? Brighten the corner where you are. Why don't you brighten the corner where you are? Brighten the corner where you are. Brighten the corner where you are. Brighten the corner where you are. Thank you, colleagues. Thank you so much. I think we needed that. I felt that it's too stiff in here. We are very stiff. I miss that singing and just the looseness, honestly, but I understand we are at a university. I suppose the academic environment predicts that. Program Director, thank you so much. Mine is just but short. I'll try to come to the point. I would like to say the following. Honorables, MEC, Mendalan, the VC of the University of Venda, Prof. Ntambeleni, VC of UL, Professor Mukhalong, in absentia, our esteemed guests who are here, our colleagues, and our students. Thank you for this opportunity to provide a vote of thanks on this very important gathering on behalf of our Executive Dean of Human and Social Sciences Faculty of the University of Venda, Professor Bantwin. The successful culmination of the two-day symposium in honor of our Social Work Day has been truly enlightening, leaving us all with a sense of fulfillment. The collaboration efforts witnessed yesterday and today, supported by the leadership of both universities and social development, are a testament to our commitment to not only advancing our profession, but also showcasing our province in a broader platform. Together we stand stronger. I suppose that's something that we hear of all the time. If we are together, we are able to do much more. So I believe that together we stand, and together we are much stronger. Let us forge ahead with unwavering determination to be the driving force behind this noble profession. As social challenges continue to grow, so does the significance of our profession. Let us illuminate every corner, let us brighten that corner wherever we find ourselves, working in the best interest of our communities. The success of this two-day symposium will be measured by the implementation of the deliberations, the commitment and dedication we display towards this profession. This is our second symposium a year. We are still having outstanding issues to look at. I hope by the time, if we do have a third one, we'll come up, by the time we meet next time, we would have met all our deliberations we set here in the first and second symposium. Colleagues, above all, this calls for a reflection on how we do things. Symposiums upon symposiums is not the answer, but implementation is. I wish to extend my deepest appreciation to the esteemed MEC, the Vice Chancellors of Univen and the Vice Chancellor of UL for granting approval and providing resources for this event. I would like to sincerely thank our second layer of leadership, who are our HODs, our deans, our HODs from DSD, HODs from our various departments of our universities. And our DSD managers, we see them there. Yeah, they've put aside their time to come and be with us here. I thank you for the various roles you have played in wholeheartedly supporting this event. Most importantly, our presenters who have diligently performed their tasks by ensuring that we are informed. I think one presentation that still stuck with me is that of Professor Sillo. The way you could talk about social work today and bring in the historical perspective for us to understand better where this is coming from. To our sponsors, I'm sorry not for mentioning your names, I'm thinking of time. You have played a significant role in realizing this day, and we thank you so much for that. Program Director, you have shined. I know sometimes when we do this thank you and vote of thanks, we seem to forget you. But this time I want to say you have shined. Thank you for flying this plane with such diligence. I also want to express my gratitude to students, who attended this event with unwavering dedication to enrich their knowledge. These are the kind of students we strive to nurture. Special thanks to the students, we see them up and down here, to the students who served as marshals. Your hard work is truly appreciated. I would also like to extend a special thank you to the university choir, and most importantly, to the university media team and social development media team. We thank you so much for realizing this beautiful day through your communications and so forth. From the bottom of my heart, I'm genuinely grateful to each and every one of you making this day a success despite your busy schedules. With these few words, I wish you all safe travels to your respective destinations. God bless.
Thank you very much, Sesvero, for giving the vote of thanks and closing remarks of the symposium. Do not forget to fill in the evaluation forms, which the department will use to improve the next symposium. I would like to thank also the University of Limpopo, University of Venda, the Department of Social Development for giving me opportunity to chair the program for these 2 days. Thank you very much. Lunch, I haven't received any information about it, but I suppose lunch is being served down at the science building and also the health sciences building. Thank you very much. Ndolibuwa, nda.